Hi guys, it's Drew here. I'm totally in my, crone outfit, my grandma nightie and my jumper because it's like Laundry Mountain Day where I'm waiting on somebody else's washing to be done that's been around like 5 times so I can do my laundry mountain. And I don't know, like waiting mood's like the perfect time for me to just take out these like super comfy grandma 90s, which I actually got for my grandma, so that makes sense. But yeah, moving on. I'm here today to make a video about week 3 and 4 of the CMP course, which is the Lunar Flow. I have my nice coffee, tea, tea, and I'm just going to preface this video by saying that a lot of the things, like my magical workings for week 3 and 4, like the things that I did, which was kind of inspired by the course, just things to think about, like my seed of creation week, and past couple of videos as well about oversharing and things like that. Those are part and parcel with some of the stuff that's come up during that time period. And so I'm just going to go through a few things that like she suggested in these weeks and how I went about doing them. Because these 2 weeks were really short, which is why I'm making a culmination video. Okay, so basically what we were talking about in week 3 was a full moon, mother moon. Some of the exercises were drawing down the moon and searing with the moon and scrying, and a lot of reflection questions. And she talks about selenite being a moon crystal, which I actually just purchased a selenite tumble today, which was really nice because I went shopping and purchased 4 stones: kyanite, lepidorite, selenite, and unikite. Unikite, I think it's called. And I got that with a voucher that I had accumulated from multiple endless shopping sprees earlier on in the year, and they're like, here's $16 for spending probably like $500, $600 over the course of 6 months. But anyway, so I went and got that, but I didn't get a chance to use the selenite in the full moon because I didn't have a piece, but I have been using quartz, moonstone, and sodalite. For me, sodalite is my stone as a creative stone. I don't know where it is. I just have it. Oh yeah, it's my favorite. My favorite. So I've been working with this a lot on my altar, in my dream work. Whenever I'm writing, I always have this close by. If not this piece, I have a smaller piece that I purchased before, but I want to get more of these darker blue colors because I love this color. And you can see a little bit of gold in there. It was talking about creativity, cultivating abundance, gratitude, ceremony, rites of passage, sisterhood and tribe, and kindred spirits. The really fascinating thing that I found about like moving with the cycles and flows of Luna was around the full moon time, or just before it. That's when I started making some fantastic friends, in groups, offline, like out of the groups, and really developing a connection with a tribe of people that, a tribe of women and men that I feel are very much kindred. And I haven't really experienced a group kindred community in a very long time. I think the closest thing I could possibly think of that's a healthy kindred group has been a writing group I used to go to when I was 18, 19. But in terms of like connecting with people who really do love astral dreaming, who want to take tarot beyond tarot, who are really at their heart intimate people who aren't afraid to be vulnerable, but also are very strong-willed, and they know um, what's healthy and what's not, and where to draw that line. That for me is very important because, as I probably mentioned, I have a lot of trust issues. I have a lot of trauma that I'm healing through, and having a community with people who respond to that passion and that fire in with me to communicate and have a voice and also respond with their own is really incredibly important. So the full moon was very, very, very sacred for that. And around that time was when I started slowing down a little bit because a lot of stuff was happening online. So you don't get your light without your dark. So a lot of dark shit was going down. A lot of shit was breaking apart around that period of time as well that week. So it was interesting because I'd already been in a few groups and I left them because they weren't working for me. In terms of drawing down the moon and scrying, I kind of left scrying to like the last minute. Um, I had left my moon water out on the full moon because I really wanted to collect moon water for my elixir that I'm working on, and also to have some for like store not storage but to work with because I really believe that moon water is magic and sacred as well. Something that I wanted to add into some teas, some elixirs, some body work as well. I still got a little bit of that, and I'm planning on getting some more little tiny what do you call them, vials to collect like new moon water and sort of a couple of like the cycles and see what I want to do with that with different magical projects in the future. So that's something that I'm going to be working on. But with scrying, I kind of just looked into my tea anyway. I don't really looking into a glass bowl with water in it doesn't work so much. It didn't work so much for me, and I'm going to practice a little bit. But for me, having the what do you call it, birch, and having some moon water in my tea actually was a lot more productive for steering because I constantly am drinking tea and making a meditation out of drinking tea. And I felt like I got more intuitive hits by just relaxing with a nice cup of herbal infused tea. Then we move on to the waning moon. And you can probably tell when the waning moon hit because it was a little bit part way through, I believe, when I started my seeds of creation and I started to just really my creativity and my mood, my energy just went pew. And that's fine because one of the best things I've realized about that time period, and I've mentioned in a few videos, is ebbing and flowing in the waning moon is my time. It is my downtime. It is my confusing time. It is my, oh shit, everything is like confusing and I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm tired and I'm sensitive and I'm cranky and I'm pent up and I'm, all this kind of stuff was happening. And I was like, yes, I have finally narrowed in on this kind of week because for the past 3 years really I've been creating, but then I realized that there's sometimes when I have a week where I'm just dead tired, and I used to freak out. I used to think, fuck, what's wrong with me? Has my inspiration gone? Where's it gone? Why am I feeling like this? Why are my hormones all over the place? And because I don't actually experience the full cycle, I don't bleed because I have PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. It can kind of throw me off because I've got testosterone in my body as well. So it's not a matter of sort of just linking up with that bleeding period as well to kind of sync that shit together. That stuff together. That is really sacred for me, and it's something that I'm learning to really tap into my body without having to feel that experience. But I do want to have that experience, and that's something that I'm going to be exploring next month, or this month in June. But the next cycle is because we had a meditation to meet our crone, and I won't go into the whole details, but she did say that something that was really important for me was going to be working on my reproductive cycles, my sex organs and things like that, because they affect my hormones, they affect my mood. PCOS affects can affect depression, it can affect eating, it's a whole range of things that it can affect, and primarily it shuts down my ovaries and produces a lot of testosterone in my body. So that's not something I want long term. It can cause all kinds of issues. And so I was really glad that I had that experience with the crone because it was something that I knew that, eventually in some ways I was going to have to deal with it and start really making the changes. Also, the waning and ebbing moon was talking about boundaries, protection, and grounding. I think I probably pretty much covered all that I'd want to say about that at the moment in my recent video, how much sharing is too much sharing, because it talks about those kinds of things, especially with the boundaries and, you know, how far do we take it. She makes some suggestions about like what are your ebbing and flowing, like what do you like to do when you're ebbing and flowing. I can't even remember what I actually wrote down for that, if I did that. It's in my journal. But I did do some yin yoga, which is something I'm definitely going to be doing next ebbing. I'm just going to call it ebbing, and we'll just know it's a waning moon. That moon, I did some yin yoga, and it was just so relaxing. I was like, oh, I had the heater on. I was on my yoga mat in the room. They had candles. I had my blanket and pillows, and it was just exactly what I needed to just rejuvenate. And it was, I only did it once, but I think I'm gonna do it a couple of times next time with my flow, like the Lunar Flow, because I'm gonna be doing this again to build upon the tarot course as well. Because the one thing, and this is probably gonna be a wrap up suggestion, kind of. Would I recommend this course? Fuck yes. Hell yes. The meditation questions and the reflection questions are great. Do they make the course 100%, successful for me? Yes and no. Like, I don't think I think the meditations are just I'm just going to call it out, but they're pretty crap. Like, I'm just going to say this out loud. They are pretty crap. Like, in terms of like me connecting, yes, I do connect, but the quality of it, was just, it's too fast. It's too, I feel more stressed out than I did before I started the meditation, because there's not enough time, and I've mentioned this before, there's just not enough time between setting yourself up and her speaking and then her ending it. It's like 5 minutes and it's done. And for me, that doesn't work as a meditation when you're trying to really sink yourself into that moment. You know, you can't, it's not fast enough. Like, even if I had and maybe I could put it on my MP3 player next and see how that works, and be lying down on the bed. So actually, I'll see how that goes next month, because I do have some meditations I believe to do for next month. I'll put some on my MP4 player rather, and I'll lay in the bed and see if that makes it any better, because I've been doing it on the computer and it's just been horrendous. But even so, starting a meditation that fast is annoying. The questions, yes. The questions, some are applicable, some are kind of vague, and I don't really get much out of it, but there are a lot of questions in the reflection section that really did pull me back in and go, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Or how do I think about this? How do I feel about this? And I think next lunar cycle, I'll be going through the questions that really work for me and resonated with me, and using those to document and track my cycle. And the exercise and what I actually like doing, and what makes me feel restful. I like creating, so basically I think I've come to the conclusion through mapping this cycle is that I can have days where I sleep and rest, and it's, for me, it's more about eating properly. And by properly, I mean like eating so that I feel better. I mean, I've had a few takeaways this week because I've just been so fucking tired, and I know I haven't felt good for it. Yeah, I don't tend to eat much junk food in the way of like fast food anymore. I do get takeaway, and I think those two things are different, because for me, takeaway is like chicken with salad and things like that. Um, but yeah, it's just been, today was weird. I just had hunger attacks, and I just felt like shit after eating it. So I was like, mm-mm. And I know when I'm really tired, I make poor choices with food. So it's been about preparing food beforehand, and that's something I'm going to be doing um, through like the next cycle I'm learning, is to prepare enough food for at least 2 weeks in the freezer, if I can fit it in there, so that when my waning period comes, then I can actually relax and just know that I've got food. I don't have to cook. I've got healthy options. And also, like I said, I create. So for me, it's just about slowing down my creativity as opposed to cutting it off or cutting it, finding alternative ways to do that. And I haven't been doing much Netflix and chill kind of thing. I'm just gonna say Netflix because I'd really, for some reason that stuff gets stuck in your head, and whenever you say Netflix and chill, and it's like, no, there ain't no chilling going on my hood lately. Just there's not. There's just not any chilling. Um, chilling. But okay, I'm gonna be ranting now. Let's just come bring it back to the point because it's that kind of night. So would I recommend this course? Yes. The mapping, and I know I mentioned it before. You can find these online as well. I think there's a site I can remember that had these for free, so you wouldn't have to do the course. But I think it's having that structure has given me something that if I was to just sort of create this on my own from scratch without really any practice of it, I feel like I wouldn't have gotten as much out of the experience. But now that I have had the experience, I can kind of look at it and go, well, what sort of things work for me? Like journaling every night, a couple of lines does work for me, but I'm journaling anyway. But even if I have a day where I feel like I just want to write down a quote, what star sign I'm in, and what's going on with my life, that's okay. I really love the mapping out things, the color, and it's actually what the hell is that post-it note? It's really fun, I guess, and it's also insightful to see like my moods and colors and words, because color and words are, primarily what I focus on, what I work with, archetypes, color, and words, as a writer and as a creator and as an artist. And so, for seeing, like for today, for example, I wrote down productive, abundant, supported, and it's in the orange section. So that kind of relates to my life force and my creativity. So that like merging those two together with the solar plexus and the sacral chakra. So I felt like I was in that place, and that's how I've been kind of doing it. And then my intention was to create heart with words. And looking at this whole month, I can see that I've done that. Not only can I see it on paper in my journal, in my reflection, and in my dedication to actually completing the whole course, which is amazing for me. I'm so proud of myself with really sticking with it, even when I was struggling in terms of like being like this doesn't look right, or this doesn't feel right, and especially struggling through like the times when I was in doubt. I was low, I was tired, unproductive, all those kind of like um, necessary moments. I felt that this course is definitely worth it, and I've learned a great deal from that and doing the mapping and things like that. So yes, I would highly recommend this course. And I'm just looking at the paper. It's been a great month. It has been a great month, and I've learned a lot about myself. I have grown. I've produced a lot of videos, a lot of content, a lot of blog posts. I've spoken up so much, and for me, that is just, if I've done nothing else, I have spoken and created heart with words, and that to me, I can't even express it in words. It's like, it's not even about being in a spotlight. It's just shining with myself. It's really sitting in who I want to be, who I am, who I really feel I am, completely in my raw, in my happy, in my angry, in my sad, and all those emotions, and being able to share that with you guys has been really beautiful. And to not be afraid to say, I don't agree with this, I don't like this, I don't think it's right, or I love this, I want to expand, I want to go deeper, I want more intensity, and own that intensity, own that personality who is me, and really respect my body and walk in it and own it. And I'm excited. I'm actually really, really excited for the new moon, which is in like, oh, it's the third now, so it's in 2 days. Yeah, and which I'll be doing my tarot course, which I printed out all the stuff for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and this little wrap up. If you have been wanting to do the CMP course or just the Lunar Flow course, hopefully these videos have been insightful and giving you a bit of an idea of what to expect or what you can, what the process I guess is, or what her structure and how she structured it. As in terms of like her response, we'll see how it goes over the course. Like the tarot course is like 12 weeks, so that's 3 months, and then I've got the stone and the chakra, so it's a long course, so that's fine. Totally, and this month, I can say to you guys, doing this, having a structure, creating my own structure, has been worth $120 alone. The experiences that I've created for myself, the experience that I've undergone, the intuition, the guidance that I've received. And I do believe I would have received it anyway, but having something that helps support that is an integral part of my own learning process is worth $120. I would pay $120 each month if I had to, if I could. I don't need to, but that's what I'm trying to say. So cheers for all those lovely ladies and men who, if you have done this course or did this course, English through, done this course, and I will talk to you all later. Love you. Bye.